allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the first piece of business is to approve the agenda as presented. If there are no questions, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Second. Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Siroli?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes. Next is the approval of the regular council meeting minutes on July 14th.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from July 14, 2014.
Motion's been made. I'll second the motion. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Siroli?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes. Now I have, on approving this, I have a date of this special council meeting of July 22nd. But at the same time, I've got I either don't have those minutes and or the date that I have, says July 25th. Is it July 25th? Okay. I'll make a motion. It is 22nd. Okay, this has been the meeting we had on July 22nd. If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to start the meeting on July 22nd, which is a special meeting.
Support.
Motion made and support. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Siroli?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes. The treasurer's report, which will be next, that will be the purple sheet. Any questions?
Make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report for August 11, 2014.
Motion's been made.
Support.
Okay, motion made and support. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Siroli?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes. And the bills and transfers was, we got those in here.
Question, Rick?
Any questions on it?
Yeah. First page, the Michigan chloride sales, is that for 1, 2, or 3? Are you prepaying that, or is that just for one? One application?
That's one application.
Just one application? When are we gonna do the?
Of
When
course,
are we
we'll
gonna do
start,
it?
start moving through here,
Do
and they put 2 applications on every time they do it. They do it once, come back, do it a second time. It's held up pretty good this year.
Yeah, it has. Any questions, other than Doug's question about the check register? If not, I'll make a motion that we, use the check register dated from July 1st, 2014 to July 31st, 2014.
Support.
point in time, the meeting is always open for public comments. If anyone has a comment they'd like to make, address the chair. And then we're going to hold down to 3 minutes. Sometimes the questions kind of get involved, but we're going to try to hold down to 3 minutes. That's been protocol forever. I'm not going to wave and whistle. I'll yell at you. I'm not looking at you. Yes, I am. Anyone like to address the board? You're up.
Diane Frederick, 7476 Terrace Court, otherwise known as Jimmy Cricket. I see that we are once again looking at compensation, and a couple of times now we've talked about raises, and you guys were very smart and said that we're not going to be giving any. And even though it might be in the budget, this is an election year, and we are facing heavy debt due to the drain and the dam. And the press is here, and people are going to say, hey, as the voting public, when they get their assessment, finding out that you gave raises to anybody, being that we have all this debt coming our way, I think is really unconscionable. And I'm begging you for the third time to please not give raises to people that are already making money and have a salary. And if what they're making is not enough, then maybe they need to leave. But we have got to stop someplace with giving raises because we have other debt to take care of. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone else?
So to be the Erie Street, got a couple of questions. We know that our end of the street is a mess. It looks nice for a picture, but for us as people and victims that have flooded over and over and over again in that area, that job was ridiculous. This has to start being competitive. You've got to start checking with other engineers. You've got to educate us. I came here for 5 years asking when we were going to do this project. I was never notified, and you need to share more with the community for us. Now, another question I have is that the back alley up on the hill, and the very bottom, as you're going through the stop on the back alley where the buses used to go, was hitting bottom. That got taken care of. Extra, I know that's in your yard, that was brought down. Why did it stop at my yard? I have come to you about my driveway for 6 years. I have yet to be able to put a car in my garage. How simple would it have been for the DPW to have brought more dirt for us and shared a little bit of pleasure in that back for us as well as anybody needed up above? It's important and I want it done. And we need to have it done where I can get in my driveway. I can't even have a garage sale, let alone get my car in. It's not right. I pay taxes. Another question is with the new drains that are on Erie Street, they look like little black Tonka toy Legos. We went plastic, we didn't even go a concrete metal. We get so much snow shoved on our backs from that school, and you all know it. What are you gonna do with the snow now? So when it's up to here, and I've got this little drain, and I've got a driveway going backwards, and I've got my front yard going backwards, where's that gonna drain in the spring when we've got foot after foot of frozen snow and ice that's down into those little drains? I don't think that has been done correctly. I know it hasn't been done correctly.
Okay, we'll take a look at it. Anyone else? Okay,
I'd like to speak, please. Patricia Wartella, 8010 Schumann Drive. And I brought a
Nice poster.
poster with, I'll bring it up closer for you, for all of you to see, and it's labeled Schumann Drive. And I particularly took these pictures personally myself at your driveway, Mr. Horton. And this specifically identifies how this entire road is crumbling, and I only had to go a short distance. As you can see, this is just across from your driveway. The entire road on the edge is totally crumbling. It is separated so bad that we've got foliage now growing between the cracks that have not been taken care of, and the DPW is probably gonna have to take a lawnmower to it. And as you can see, this is directly across from your house. This is directly across from your driveway, I know you see it every day. But I'm asking why, in 19 years, my husband addressed it last month, that you and the DPW supervisor and the street administrator has only come down Schuman Drive one time in 19 years. I'm bringing it up before you to ask that you take the time now and you identify this issue, because the entire road is crumbling before us. We need it crack sealed, we need it repaired before the entire road has to be done. It's not just small out of the other areas that you have continually crack sealed, it is Schuman Drive, that we've been patient, we've identified, we've repeatedly said it. I've even stated it when I was on council in 2006. But lastly but not least, this is critical. There's 3 pictures here. This is at our corner, Mr. Horton.
I know.
And that corner is a hazard. That hazard is gonna cause somebody to get hurt. You've allowed that grass ordinance not to be enforced on that property. Why, I don't know. But I have a terrible time, my husband does, my children do, and if something happens, in a car accident happens there, because this property is not mowed, because it's not enforced, I'm identifying it right now.
Yeah, you're right on the corner.
You are too,
Yeah, I know that.
and you see it.
Yeah, I almost mowed it the other day myself a little bit.
Well, we have a grass ordinance. This is concordance, it needs to be mowed.
Okay, we'll look at that. That
All
needs to be
right,
done.
thank you.
Crack seal needs to be looked at also. Any other public comments?
How bad
If
Yes,
not,
sir. May I speak?
absolutely.
Yes, sir. Tim Brannon, 10366 Goodrich Meadows. I'd like to address our subdivision, sir. Our subdivision, approximately 10 years old. We've had the base coat on it since day one. By law, the developer is required to be bonded to build in the subdivision via the roads. And my concern is, sir, that you stated in the village, you stated in the citizen, that the residents will be assessed to put the top coat on the road. Now, I'd like an explanation as to why the village feels the need to charge us when, by law, you're required to bond the developer. And secondly, I request that the board open up an investigation in regards to the village fact finder. I feel you stated last meeting that it had nothing to do with the village. Well, when it states the village of Goodrich fact finder, sir, that has something to do with the village, and the law has been broken. And you need, as a council, you need to look into that, and I'm requesting that.
We'll take a look at the top coating on the road too, and see what's going on with that. Anyone else? Okay, the first thing, unfinished business, is Genesee County Sheriff Department report. Everyone has a copy. Pretty much done deal with everything happening. Street Administrator, Mr. Moore, you have anything?
Yes. As far as the dirt in the alley in Warwick, I managed to save about 80 yards. I'm storing it in my backyard, on my back lot, for them to move in there to do it. But they couldn't work in there when they were working on the street. They did what they could.
We did the other mooring.
So,
They did it all, and they came down to the beginning of the
They
street and
just-
stopped. We won't argue now.
Well,
Don't argue, I
I'm
saved
not.
it for them.
Okay,
When they get it, I took the time to put it on my property, because there's not a room here. If we would've had to buy it, it'd probably be $2,000 to $3,000. I'm saving you money, but it just takes time to do things. They've been painting, they had to get the painting done uptown. And, I do think the drains they put in will work. I have them in my yard, and when the snow gets on there, the water runs underneath and it gets in there and it'll work fine. You've got a 6-inch drain going to a 12. The main line is a 12, so you shouldn't hold any water there.
You're at the top, we're at the bottom.
I'm at the top and I got flooded last time. I
I
have
know.
drains in my yard that are
Let's
just
not
like that.
argue, let's not
I'm
argue,
just
let's move
explaining that it
on.
will work.
Okay.
Okay.
And, as far as the top coat goes in that subdivision, that's a builder's choice. It's been, went through bankruptcy 3 times, and he's the one that come up with it.
The builder has, the
This
builder's
isn't,
nothing to
this,
do
he
with
bought it from the bank.
developer. The developer has to be bonded.
So you're on board, we're gonna look into
He
it.
does not.
Okay, we'll look into it.
That was 12 years ago.
Not
Well,
Goodrich anyways.
He's speaking to me, sir, so
I'm speaking on the problem. You can't talk back, but the builder that lost it was not bonded.
Oh, for God's sakes.
And this developer is how he's going to do it. Should be done.
How can you spill all this stuff?
Okay. 9/11 water and waste, Parks and Rec, anything for that?
Nothing on 9/11, we're still working with Flint on whether or not they're gonna join the county's 9/11.
Okay.
Water and waste, there's nothing going on there. Parks and Rec's in your packet, there's a letter from the Goodrich volunteers and a proposal that they got last year, just to give you an idea of what it might cost to fix the tennis courts and the other 2 courts that are there. I think that we're in a position right now to make any decisions on that, it's there for your information.
I did, we did a copy of that. We didn't get a copy of that. I don't think.
The letter from Anthony, should be anything,
Oh,
but now I'll get it to you.
okay, I didn't see that. Okay, code enforcement. We have a,
There's a letter from each
Yeah.
of them. There's a letter in your packet. The code code enforcement officer has been writing letters about some buildings within the village, barns specifically pertain to this one. The owners of the property have given you an idea of what they're trying to do and when they might be able to get that done. And just a consensus from you whether or not you want to work with the plan that they have or you want to move forward on anything.
well, that old barn, it's been there a long time, and over years has kind of dilapidated itself. But at the same time, Mr. Detmeyer has some ideas what he's gonna do with it. I guess he has the cost of removing it, which is pretty expensive. And he's gonna have to fix it up, which I don't think he's gonna try to do. And either, maybe get a hold of him by letter, for example, and see what his plans are, and see if that fits our situation, whether we need to abide by his plans are gonna be for time, or we're not going to, one of the two. And,
He thinks that he could complete everything by the next summer. It's up to you whether or not you wanna
well, if he thinks he,
allow him to give you a schedule on what he might be
Yeah.
thinking of doing, and we can request that a little bit more detailed, and I can bring it back to you.
yeah, that'd be
What
good.
is a completion date?
Give an idea, sometimes completion dates are not met, sometimes you're done before, depends on the situation, but
Okay.
we should have some
We'll
kind of
have,
a date.
the code enforcement officer write him a letter and ask for some more information. There
Okay.
is another barn that is out there that will be coming to you shortly, I think.
Okay.
The only thing I have is that the audit is scheduled for the 21st and 22nd of August.
Okay. Anything on the dam, that's been
No,
looked at, repaired, okay, sidewalk, village property.
it's still in line for closing at title company.
Okay. And the state road property.
I have a phone meeting with Mike on Wednesday at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll know something by then.
Okay. And the Wheelock drain.
No.
I have a question on that drain, I understand,
Talking about the drain.
pardon me, I'm sorry.
You got a question?
Yeah, I understand that, the pipes underneath the road were opened up, and that we're using it now. Seeing as how we're under litigation, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Doesn't that open us up for more of a problem, seeing as how we've been served and we don't have agreement with the golf course? Things are a little different now that we've been served.
Have you been served?
No,
What was the, we have a notice that you received?
I've not been served.
Okay.
If
Did we
anybody has it
receive?
in their pocket, feel free.
Pardon me?
If anybody has it in their pocket, feel free.
What did we receive? Notice that we're gonna be served?
We didn't receive anything. I went on the website after a reporter mentioned something.
Okay. The 10th thing we have is resolution 2014-11. Yeah, you would.
According to the village charter, we have to adopt this resolution. The numbers that are in this resolution reflect what the wages were for last year. No increases are reflected in this.
So basically, the numbers we have here is what the payroll was or the hourly rate for last year. And we have to have a resolution stating what the numbers are for this year.
Which are the same as last year.
Yeah. Everybody understand that?
No cost of living increase either, right? There's no increase,
There's no
period.
increase whatsoever. Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna, since the numbers are the same, resolution 2014-11, it's the administrative officer's compensation. Effective July 1st, 2014 to July 30th, 2015. I make a motion that we accept resolution 2014-11.
Support.
Motion's been made, supported. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAfee.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. And under new business, we have some computers that we need to purchase for the office staff. And Jackie, you want to talk about that for a minute?
When we had our budget meeting, we went over the need for the purchase of the computers and what the amount would be. This is just to finalize it.
Okay. So we have,
Make your motion to purchase.
okay, how many computers was it? Five? Okay.
Are they laptops or are they desktops? Desktops.
Are they hack proof?
What kind of, I'm sorry, what kind of, who you, HP, Haggard, or?
They're made by IT Bright for us. They're our IT people as well as they coordinate with BSNA for our software.
Okay, that's good. Okay, no other questions, I'll make a motion that we purchase the computers. I do know that a couple, especially Rich had mentioned that the pricing is very competitive, because his people, and I know for a fact that when you order 5 computers at that price, it's a good price. So I'll make a motion that we purchase the computers for the amount that was given to us by IT Right.
Support.
Motion made and support.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAfee.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. Okay, one other point we have here is there's some more public comment now that you've heard the issues on, this evening's meeting. This would be a time to address the microphone. Again, name and address. We're gonna try to allow it to 3 minutes. If anyone else wants to address this at the microphone, please do. If not, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Motion made and supported.
Public or comment from council?
Yeah, they didn't, there's no one I asked.
Let me comment from council.
Oh, yeah, we can do that now.
Okay. Anybody? A couple quick ones. On the computer, some of that cost was paying for the licensing software. So it all was, that 4,100 was not just computers. There was $1,000, I believe it was, for licensing of the hardware, which we have to pay. We can't, that's the name of the game. Well, the crack seal, I thought we bought a machine for that. Is that functioning?
We bought hole patch.
Okay.
We put in to get the crack sealer that we
We
rent.
share the cost with some,
No, we call the company and get on the list. And it usually can only come through every 2 years. We had been on that street when she was in office, and we were on it last year.
You were not, that's a lie. You were never on our street.
So they, I know,
Well, speak up,
well,
please.
there's crack sealing needs to be done, and that's the norm already, but if we can't get the machine to do it, that's a whole other issue. One thing that was brought up that I think we could look at is on the edge of that road, there's portions of it where the blacktop is either being driven on and broken off, which is can create a problem because it probably won't stop. And I think what we need to do is take a look at it, number one, and number two, if we just bring in some top fill of some type. So we take the edge of the road and just grade it up into the ditch line. That will help solve that blacktop from being broke off in pieces along the edges, because you'll have ground to support it versus no support there. Because right now the blacktop is so high, but the ditch line is here. And if you get somebody driving on the edge, it's very easy to break off a couple pieces. And I know for a fact on the edge that's happening. And also, when you come up to Eagle Road, make a right or left-hand turn, it's happening there also. So that and the height of the weeds right there on the corner on Mr. Gordon's property needs to be whacked down about 10, 15 yards, because you get to the corner, you really do have a problem looking at
I don't think he owns it anymore.
the property.
It's in the tax sale.
Well, let's see if we can knock it down on it. It is a liability for people coming in on that property.
well, is there a list of other places that need to be crack sealed so that, this isn't the only place?
Well, if we ever get the machine, there's probably other spots, but I don't know about that.
You might want to just make a list.
Well, usually when we have it, we go off to the town. We order like 750 pounds.
When?
Okay,
Well, two other things real quick. The bonding was mentioned, and I really think we need to look into that. I've heard about 3 different stories on what happened to it.
well, we got notes of that, we can find out what's going
Well,
on.
yeah, we talked about it last one.
Yeah.
And the fact finder, people are clamoring for investigation. I think they need to be heard. Get it over with.
Well, facts are
We
facts,
could
it's
do
already
it in
done.
one meeting,
Facts are facts.
and I think we would be there. Get it over with.
Are you speaking for me?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
No, sir.
Anybody else
I
on?
apologize, I didn't know.
okay. Motion is made.
So you're gonna, a roll call for the,
No, it's not deal.
okay,
Okay, folks, it's raining out there, be careful driving.